Hi friends, and welcome to the second part of this video where I thought it might be helpful for all you jewelry designers to just share with you what are the most popular jewelry styles that we as a manufacturer produce for our designer customers. So in other words, all the repeated orders that we get from our customers obviously show the high success rate of which they're selling these pieces. And so yeah, I thought that might help anyone out there that may be in a situation where maybe you're in the middle of developing your jewelry collection, whether that's your first or 10th or whatever. And, this is really just an insight as to what seems to be trending now in the jewelry market and what kind of jewelry production we're up to at my manufacturing plant in Thailand. I'll also be sharing various tips along the way, which hopefully you'll find helpful. So in my first video, I illustrated various jewelry styles and how you can explain your jewelry range to potential suppliers without sharing any design images to them. So please watch that if you haven't already, just because it might help with the creation of your jewelry collection alongside the information in this video. Any of you are new to this channel, welcome. Hello, I'm Kim, owner of Thai Design Distributors. We're a third generation family business since 1975, owning our manufacturing plant in Thailand, specializing in producing high-end sterling silver and gold jewelry exclusively for our designers. We've always had our headquarters in London and now a sales and support office in the US. Please get familiar to what we do here and watch my intro video, which just tells you more about my background in the jewelry industry and the purpose of this channel. And please continue to support the channel by liking and subscribing for all my latest tips and videos on jewelry manufacturing. Firstly, may I remind you that due to the exclusivity and confidentiality rights of my customers, I cannot disclose any images of their jewelry that we make exclusively for them. So this is more of a general overall observation as I'm taking into account all the jewelry that we're producing. And I also want to keep it current. So I'm basing this information from the last, say, 3-ish years. We're in 2021, but come another few years, I might be saying something very different. So we're keeping it current. So I've had a chat with my sales and admin team to get their feedback on this topic. And I think we're all in agreement to say that we've definitely seen a higher demand the past couple of years on the following. The first, I would say, is a higher demand for more simpler and less complex designs. So by that, I mean the jewelry doesn't tend to be super heavy in the metal weight, but more simple, timeless jewelry designs where it could be your everyday wear sort of pieces. So for example, we've seen a rise in customers from Scandinavia reaching out to us, say the more modern and contemporary Scandinavian designs, such as pieces that have a more geometrical shape. So that's becoming popular. The majority won't have stones set in, or if they do, they tend to be smaller. Again, simple stones such as white cubic zirconia or a diamond, just keeping the design simple with a twist yet elegant at the same time. Now, high polished pieces have always been popular, but I would say that along with the rise in simpler shaped pieces, we've also seen that customers have chosen a more organic look. So whether that's an organic shape, imagine, for example, an irregular pebble, for example, to the actual texture of the piece. So there's been a high demand for matte finishes or a slightly hammered effect finish, as opposed to the high polished shine effect. FYI, one of the good things if you were to opt for a more organic finish is that it's less likely that you'll see those smaller scratches on the surface in comparison to the high polish, where you're more likely to see every single scratch or dent. So this is an advantage also to the ultimate consumer who buys your jewelry because it feels that the piece is a little more long-lasting. And if you do decide to opt to a more matte or textured finish, it'll also be easier for the manufacturer that you decide to go with because there's less labor and time for them to achieve that finish as opposed to a high polish finish. For example, let's say a customer of mine requests for a matte finish on their jewelry designs, then usually we would only need to put the items in the barrel polish machine, which requires less labor and skill, and then just a quick buff afterwards. So there's less time, labor and skill on the jewelry piece itself. That means that the cost of making it isn't going to be as high. I want to, however, say that mirrored or high polished pieces does continue to be popular. And I think, the demand for high polished jewelry is very much stable in the current market. And I think one of the trends that was really big a couple of years ago was the demand in jewelry personalization. For example, in the UK, with the establishment of notonthehighstreet.com, that's all about personalizing anything from clothing, books, jewelry. I mean, their whole purpose or intention is to offer a huge range of unique personalized gifts for the consumer. And we've had some really successful customers selling on there too. So with my customers going down that route, we're going to get orders for plain jewelry for that purpose of personalization. So we're talking about flatter, highly polished surface areas for engraving or lasering, such as, for example, lockets or flat discs of various shapes. So whether that's dog tags, key rings, cufflinks. But for us, manufacturing lockets continues to be one of our top productions. And the orders come in different sizes for lockets, whether it's more the classic styles or more contemporary style lockets. So for personalization, we at my manufacturing plant wouldn't do the individual one-off laser engraving for my customers. So they would keep the stock, and then when they get an order from their customer who chooses their personalized engraving, they would either laser engrave the jewelry pieces themselves, meaning that they have their own lasering equipment or facility in-house, or they would outsource and send the pieces for lasering. Now, let's say you're thinking of creating jewelry pieces for the purpose of personalization, or that we get a repeat order from one of our customers, say for lockets. One of the things that's really important from a manufacturing standpoint is that the silver or the gold sheet, or rather the thickness of that panel, is thick enough for laser engraving. If it's too thin, the lasering would actually just go through the sheet. So just something for you to be aware of if you're thinking of going down that road. But of course, your supplier should be able to tell you this during the sampling development. So this leads me on to the next point, in that we are also seeing a substantial rise in gold plating. So though it's not related to a jewelry style per se, plating has really been popular the last recent years. And I wanted to point this out because, in my opinion, the same piece of jewelry in sterling silver versus gold plating can make the whole piece look very different. So we've seen a rise in designer customers ordering sometimes just in gold plating, and they won't have anything to do with silver as part of their collections. Now, when I mean gold plating, I'm referring more to yellow gold plating, and FYI, 18 karat yellow gold is the color that the majority of my customers order. I remember about 10 years ago or so, rose gold plating was just as popular as yellow gold. But like I said, I want to keep things current to the time. So I would certainly say that the yellow gold plating is going strong and stable. There is a video that I did especially on gold plating, so please check that out if you haven't already. But I mentioned in that video that gold vermeil was popular, meaning the plating is at least 2.5 microns thick on sterling silver. So just going back, when we're plating, say, these lockets that my customers are using for the intention of laser engraving or personalization, doing it in a thicker coat of, say, 2.5 microns minimum is ideal because it ensures that if they choose to have the laser engraving offered to customers, you'll still see the yellow gold plating beneath that engraving as opposed to the silver color. And that, to a lot of my customers, seeing those two-tone colors just looks strange and of low quality. Of course, it depends on how deep the engraving is, but just for peace of mind, it's better to have a sufficient amount of plating on the piece. In a nutshell, the majority of my customers anyway who is ordering their jewelry designs in plating would opt for gold vermeil, so that continues to be the most popular choice. Lastly, I wanted to just throw in there that there has been a higher request from our customers wanting to have their logo stamped on their pieces. So just some food for thought there. Again, there's a video of logo stamping along with a hallmarking video that we did recently. But since we're here talking of things like an increase in gold plating and customers wanting their logo stamped on the jewelry, I felt it would be worth mentioning. Be aware that whatever you end up choosing as your jewelry collection style, make sure an important criteria that you set in place is the quality. I understand price is important, but let's say you're wanting to create jewelry that has a high polished surface to it, whether it's for personal engraving or not. Creating and maintaining that high polished shine from the manufacturer will come at a cost, but you'll definitely see the quality in that. And I think, one of the reasons why we're continuing to get orders of high polished items is ultimately my designer customers can really appreciate the finishing on them, as well as the consumer who orders those pieces. And with happy customers ordering something of high quality, all ends up reflecting on you as a brand, your reputation, and with more and more sales, you're able to grow your jewelry business. So yeah, whatever it is that your jewelry collection ends up looking like, just make sure you get exactly the finish, the shape of the design, etc., as you expected, and they're all produced in the highest quality. Like I've said over and over again, guys, the purpose of having those samples developed is for you to do this trial order, making sure that you're happy with the samples before you place an official order. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really thankful for all the positive comments that you guys have shared, and really pleased that these videos are helping you develop and grow your jewelry brand. So please continue to support the channel, and I will see you in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.